This is an audio file retrieved from the internet of a show describing how a U.S. born person, also known as a U.S. person, who is deemed to be a dual resident of their state and the United States as a U.S. citizen, can be rebutted in order for you to protect yourself from state theft.
And what with all these EINs? Now I want you to read number 3. It says 6 and 7 million series EINs are reserved for trust, estates, and non-exempt organizations under the Tax and Equity Fiscal Responsibility Act, called TEFRA. 6 and 7 series EINs can be identified by the number 6 or 7 immediately following the dash. All right? So if you have a 6 or a 7 after the dash of an EIN, you know that it is exempt from taxes. It's giving you, out of Philadelphia, if you do this correct, it's a 98 number EIN. The 98 EIN is called a foreign EIN. It is totally foreign to the United States of America Corporation under the Act of 1871. Who organized the corporation called United States of America, which is a municipal corporation. Y'all are familiar with the Bible. The Bible told us you could not buy, sell, or trade without the mark of the beast. Right? Now, everyone knows that mark of the beast to be what? The Social Security number. Okay. Right? And that's how they're tracking through the social. All right? There's another number in Revelations called the mark of the 144,000. That's supposed to bring heaven upon earth. Now, that number is the number 98, which is under what we call the Security Exchange Commission. Your 98 EIN is exempt from all taxes and everything else. Is the number 98, which is under what we call the Security Exchange Commission. Your 98 EIN is exempt from all taxes and everything else. And it's under Rule 144A of the Security Exchange Commission. The problem is, Noble Drew Ali has always said, stop doing business in your old name. Take on a new name and do business in your new name. He was telling you, get your Moorish national name and do business in your Moorish national name. The problem with people, when they get their Moorish national name, it does not have a number so that it can do business. And
this is an important part of the radio show because while he is discussing Moors and their Moorish empire and their names not having a number, this is very similar to how Muslim communities operate and how Americans who were born in the lands originally were supposed to be operating. The whole purpose of the registration of the birth was for enumeration purposes for the Census Bureau so that the national government would be able to determine how many members for the House of Representatives, for the national government, for the states of the Union would be applied for each state. Each state was to have 2 senators and to have a certain number of delegates from the House of Representatives because all bills originate in the House, not in the Senate. And this also is a direct trace route to the corruption of the 13th Amendment, which led to the enactment of the 14th Amendment that Abraham Lincoln was able to enact and enforce through the Declaration of Emancipation Proclamation. That 14th Amendment eradicated the 13th Amendment, which stated attorneys cannot hold public office. If you are a lawyer, you are not allowed to hold public office. And the reason the 13th was eliminated when the 14th went into play is because the 14th Amendment was done in wartime under martial law, and it created the admiralty jurisdiction that we are currently still operating under in 2019. That's why this 98 EIN information is so important, and to recognize the incorporation of the municipality from 1871.
For it is called a 98 EIN. Say this. I have cars in my Moorish national name. I have all types of everything that my straw man used to own. My Moorish national name owns because I transferred it to my Moorish national name. Wow. Which makes it into a private family trust. And you already know, Ron, because you've been teaching it, they can't mess with the family trust. Correct. Because it wasn't organized under the United States. So I'm simply trying to show y'all how to do what you were already talking about for them to do. When you go to get a corporation, you have to do what is called articles of incorporation, of articles of association. You have those drawn up, you sign them, you get them notarized, and then you take them to the Secretary of State. Right? Yes. Yes. And then you have to give that document to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State keeps that document and then gives you some paperwork saying that it's been incorporated and you're the secretary. Did you see what just happened? You went from being the owner of that corporation to a mere secretary or president. The state became the owner because they kept your original foundational paperwork. Correct. So that's when you gave it to them. You operate. You're supposed to have a trust where you maintain ownership. So let me say this. This is something that they don't like to tell y'all how to do. You're supposed to do a DBA for that corporation. That is the registration of the corporation. It would be like you putting your brand on a cattle. So you need to put your brand on that corporation. And you do that on the county level. On the county level, you do the DBA, and they register who's the owner of that corporation. Correct. You go down to the county, you do a DBA, and the way I did mine is, let's say the company is called, I'm going to be funny right now, Big Booty. Big Booty is the name of the corporation. So I'm going to do a DBA saying that Jonah John Bay is doing business as Big Booty. So Jonah John Bay is the owner of that corporation. Now, if you follow what your state constitution says to do, let's say your corporation is teaching the public, or your corporation is involving some type of religious rites that it's doing for the public. Well, according to the state's constitution, a school doesn't pay taxes. According to the Constitution, religion don't pay taxes. Correct. So therefore, you have no need to ever do a 501c3 or a 501a or anything else because you're already tax exempt by the Constitution. So what I'm trying to say is when you're doing business, you're supposed to be doing business under your religious precepts of your ancestors instead of going to do business with man as a corporation. Well, Jonah, stop. You got to back up and go back to walking into to get your DBA. Now, if you say doing business as, now I can understand doing business as Jonah Bay, but what's the name of your trust? The trust. That's what I named. What? Let's see. The trust was called Big Booty. Big Booty. Called Big Booty, and against doing business as Big Booty, because I'm going to do some spiritual work to teach women how to get rid of the big booty. All right. Yes. All right. I'm going to name the trust Sunshine Valley. I went and got a 98 number for it. I got the trust I got the EIN for it. Now I'm going to register the trust at the county. I'm going to go down and say, Jonah John Bay is now going to do business at Sunshine Valley. And Sunshine Valley is, we're going to set up communities for Moorish inhabitants. Now, wait, Jonah. You do not need to go to the state. When you go to the state, you're giving the whole course and